Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another reaction video. This is a reaction to another Rebecca Parham video called Daycare Stories 2. So we're going to see what kind of other wacky hijinks she got into when she was younger. So I'll include a link to the original video in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get watching.
Oh, good evening, my geeks and peeps, my explainers and entertainers, my little oodle-ollies. You're just in time for tea. You know, the last time we were sitting at my dining room table, we were talking about daycare stories, right?
Yep.
Well, who doesn't love a good sequel? Let's jump back to the good old days of making daycare staff miserable. If you remember that last video, you'll remember that my sister Rachel and I went to this daycare together. She was with the big kids, I was with the little kids. But the two of us had been going to this particular daycare literally from infancy.
Wow.
So the staff knew us. And we both had reputations.
Uh-oh.
Rachel's nickname at this place was Rocky because she
Really?
would start fights with older kids who were being mean. While
You know, that's actually a pretty good thing to do. I'm usually not one to condone violence, but if you see someone who's being mean, like bullying, or just being an absolute jerk, you should stand up to them. So, ideally, it'd be better just to talk to them first, but if they can't be reasoned with, then yeah. I say there's no problem with beating up a jerk. So, good for you, Rachel. Moving on.
well, when I was about 18 months, I would go up to other kids just learning how to walk and push them over.
What?
Laughing maniacally.
That's
Listen,
terrible.
I got my deviltry out early. You best be thankful that I'm...
Yeah, in a way, I can kind of understand this, because I know that when you're a little kid, empathy just does not exist in your mind. You just do what you want, and you just don't care. So, she wasn't really evil, she was just a young child. So, don't feel too bad about it, Rebecca.
Good witch of the woods now. A typical day of daycare for the Parham sisters started early in the morning getting dropped off by a parent. And the experience was very different depending on which parent dropped us off.
Really?
See, Rachel and I didn't like that our parents were leaving us. Frankly, we weren't that thrilled being left at daycare to begin with. But we knew to keep that sentiment to ourselves whenever Mom dropped us off. She was incredibly no-nonsense, and our tears and screams would do nothing to sway her.
Good for her.
She'd just drop us off and sashay herself out the front door without looking back. So we learned that her heartstrings couldn't be played on. But if Dad was dropping us off... There's a game that both kids and adults play. When little kids play it, it's called dig in a random spot and hopefully find something. When adults play it, it's called Minecraft. Digging in dirt or sand to a kid, it's magical. Mostly because of the slim chance that you might actually find something. But there were two main things that we were all digging for as kids. Say it with me. Buried treasure and dinosaur bones.
Yep,
which makes archaeologists and paleontologists adults that never outgrew it. I caused some major property damage at daycare once by digging. You want to hear about it? Of course you do. One day, two kids and I were playing outside in a secluded, shady part of the playground around the back of the building. A spot conveniently difficult for the adults to supervise. The three of us were happily digging away in the dirt when, gasp, we actually found something.
What was it? What the eye sparkles?
That's the best thing about the positivity and the optimism of kids. It doesn't matter what you found while playing this game, you still felt like Indiana Jones. And the three of us were thrilled that we had unearthed the rare and elusive water pipe.
Uh-oh.
It belongs in a museum! But the moment the three of us walked away for just a second, leaving our dig site unprotected, a random boy saw the exposed pipe in the ground,
what are you gonna do?
Picked up a big rock,
oh no,
and...
Dude! You idiot!
He took all the blame, and they had to shut down the water at the daycare for a few days to get it fixed. However, this next story, I absolutely got caught in the act, and I'm pretty sure it's one of those universal childhood experiences. Tis a dangerous and often hilarious thing the first time a child figures out that hair is meant to be cut, and scissors are meant for cutting. We all put two and two together real fast, eyeballing those craft scissors in our school supplies. There was only one incident I tried to cut my own hair as a kid, and it was at daycare. Of course, it happened during arts and crafts. I don't even remember what we were making, but it involved scissors, and the person who was supposed to be watching us made the fatal error of looking away for just a second. Because that was all the time I needed.
Oh no.
I grabbed a piece of my hair, raised the scissors up, and... Rebecca! Don't you even think of...
Okay, I've honestly never understood the rationality of that expression. Don't you even think, it's obvious that she's thinking about it. Too little, too late, my guy.
The daycare worker took me
The
to the
sigh of
staff
defeat.
room to sit in timeout with her. A wise thing, not leaving me alone to my own devices. She sat at her desk writing down this little incident in my report card. Snitch. While I had to sit in a chair and not move. But every time another staff member walked in, this lady would say something like, "Hey, do you want to see what happens when Rebecca tries to cut her own hair?"
Seriously?
Oh,
That's just
okay,
mean.
Janet. I don't.
Why would you do that? I mean, this person, she's supposed to be watching this kid. You're not supposed to badmouth a kid that you're supposed to be looking after. That's just rude. I mean, I get like it's kind of funny, but still, could you do it when the kid isn't within earshot? Just, be civil about it, really. This is your job we're talking about.
Recall asking your opinion on my hairdressing skills, but if we're gonna start playing the shame game, I'm gonna let Kid Becca have the floor.
You think my hair's bad, but you paid someone money to make you look like that.
Ooh!
If you let me do your hair, it would at least be an improvement.
I don't get paid enough for
burn.
this.
And I don't get paid anything to tolerate you, but here we are.
Hello, Mrs. Parham. Yes, it's Rebecca again.
Mom, I saved you money on my next haircut.
Okay, I didn't actually say any of that.
What a shame.
Man, I wish I was a fire-breathing roast lord back in the day. Then maybe I would have become an actual stand-up comedian instead of an animator pretending to be one.
Hey,
Did
you're
you
doing a
hear
good
the one
job.
about crypto? So as I've said before, Rachel was in a different group than me and we had different activities, so we didn't always get to hang out with each other. But one day, while I was innocently playing with my fellow little
Thomas the
kids,
Tank Engine.
an adult
Loved that as a
plucked me
kid.
away from whatever I was doing and sat me at a table with Rachel far away from the rest of her group.
What
It
happened?
was unmistakable. She had purposely been isolated from the other kids.
Uh-oh.
All right, what did you do? You haven't confessed, have you? Demand an attorney, they can't prove anything.
What actually happened was the staff had planned an activity where each kid was given a glob of peanut butter that they could sculpt into whatever they wanted. And the best part was
Hey,
that they would
look,
eventually
it's
get to eat their
Look,
cream.
it's bold and brash. I love these old SpongeBob references, like from like the first or third seasons. They're like everywhere. So, good job, Rebecca.
The problem was, ever since childhood, Rachel has been deathly allergic to peanuts.
Are you serious?
Seriously, it's a 911 call every single time. She's that sensitive. I once opened a particularly potent jar of peanut butter, closed it after just a few seconds, and when Rachel walked through that area a minute later, her eye began to swell.
Man, that's
So
terrible.
naturally, Rachel was not going to be allowed to play with the
Wait,
world's
no,
deadliest
hold on.
substance to her.
Let me get this straight. This daycare was aware that Rachel was allergic to peanuts, and yet they still had the stupidity to plan an activity involving peanut butter. This is like a lawsuit in a jar. First of all, do you know how common peanut allergies are? I'll admit I don't, but I know they're pretty common. Also, do you really expect that the kids are going to completely clean up afterwards? And also, you're doing it inside of an enclosed building. The peanut butter particles are going to be circulating throughout the AC. This is literally an unsafe situation. What was this daycare thinking?
Instead, they gave her some Play-Doh and made me come play with her so she wouldn't be alone. Wow, that sounds like such a wholesome sisterly moment, huh? Am I right? Right?
And peanut butter.
Hey, Kid Becca, it's a wholesome sisterly moment, right?
Officer, I've never met this girl before in my life. Also, I should have peanut butter. Hey, don't you try to drag me down with you.
Mind you, I did sit there the whole time playing with Rachel, just very angrily. But when the activity was over and Rachel was far away, they eventually gave me a little spoonful of peanut butter for my trouble.
That's nice.
But oh my god, what an absolute brat, right? Never mind
Yeah.
that it's a life or death situation where you could have one less sister by the end of the day. But hey, listen, I was not always inconsiderate of my sister. Sometimes I was very helpful.
Ooh,
You
how
all know
so?
about Smarties, right? Not the good kind, the American kind. The
I was
bishop
unaware there
on
was
the
a good kind.
chessboard of loser candy. I will hear no arguments to the alternative.
I
Well,
agree.
this daycare was no stranger to giving out this candy as the occasional treat. And one day, Rachel apparently had gotten her hands on a pack of them. The two of us were in nap time together when she rolled over and whispered,
Hey, Becca, guess what? What? I got a Smartie stuck up my nose and I can't get it out.
now, as a
Seriously? Alright, Rachel, you have officially failed your responsibility as the older sibling. I mean, the whole point of being an older sibling is to provide a good example. I mean, you were both kids, but still, what type of randomness do you have to possess to think, I'm gonna shove a piece of candy up my nostril and see what happens? That thought has never crossed my mind, and I hope it doesn't cross the thoughts of many people's minds. But seriously, you messed up, Rachel.
bright young child with plenty of potential to eventually maybe one day be smart, I had a perfect plan of attack for
What's
the
he gonna
occasion.
do?
I got a stick.
Oh no!
We all stuffed random
A
things into our
stick?
pockets as kids, and apparently I had a stick that day.
Whatever you...
That's a horrible idea, young Becca. I'm pretty sure like your nasal passages are like millimeters away from your brain, so you should not be shoving a stick up anyone's nose. This is really dangerous.
do, don't move.
I shoved the stick
Ooh.
up Rachel's nose to try and get the Smartie out. And as one would imagine, a stick is not the most effective nor sanitary tool for such a job.
Yeah,
So
you're
all I
right.
really accomplished was pushing it further
Oh,
up her
no.
nose.
Ah! Ow!
Ugh.
This may turn into brain surgery soon.
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
as I thought the Smartie could go no further up Rachel's nose, a daycare staff member walked by and was treated to this cheery sight.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Hey, wouldn't you know it, that little extra push caused it to dislodge and fall down the back of Rachel's throat.
That's a relief.
Well, there you go. Crisis averted.
You know, my dad used to tell people that I was smart enough to be a doctor. I think he was lying.
I'd
Alright,
agree.
explainers, just one more thing. There are only a couple days left to pre-order the Witchbecca doll and the new pen set. These are very limited edition items. We will not be making them again, so link to the store in the description below. Alright, explainers and entertainers, I appreciate you having some late night tea with me, but I think it's time I hit the hay. Thank you so much for tuning in, but now I gotta tune out. Bye!
Well, that was another fun and enjoyable video. If you guys want me to react to more of Rebecca's stuff, let me know in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!